Let's talk a bit, if we could, about where that song came from and how it evolved.
Well, it's one of those like last second entries on a record where pretty much all the songs are written and then you write it the last second. Then you're like, okay, what are we going to do? We don't have time for this. So we decided right away, let's record it right away, because if we don't record it right away, maybe we'll lose the opportunity. So originally it was like a Civil War dirge. Right. What was more like? But you were playing more like a, right. Everything. I want to live for God and country. I can't, it's just a different key, but. So it was more like a Civil War dirge.
Yeah,
and we
actually, the Ken Burns soundtrack.
Yeah, we exactly. I mean, I had pipes and marching band. I thought like some sort of marching band theme, something.
Like a martial sort of thing.
Yeah, right, like a funerary, kind of, there goes our country, kind of thing. When we recorded, it was freaking dismal.
By the way, there's your quote for the show. It was freaking dismal, that song.
You find yourself, there's something to be said for enthusiasm, and when we record, it's pretty much me on one side of the glass in the control room and him playing drums, and we like to sort of have visual contact. So we're playing it, and we're doing this, and I find myself kind of nodding off as we're playing it, like. I mean, the whole time I'm not losing faith in the song. I'm losing faith in my version of the song, or our version of the song. And I really respect our partnership in that, like, he'll come in and look at me, I'll look at him, and we're just saying, this is not happening. There's not that, like, no, this is the way, and that's the way it's going to be, and we're really flexible. Actually, the kind of funny about this is I have this really cheesy keyboard. I don't want to say the brand, but it's got all these things in it. It's like if you can play the song and it'll play it in a particular style. So you can say ragtime and it'll just play it for you. It's like a wedding keyboard. So you can do waltzes. You don't have to do anything. You just have to hold the chords and it'll do the doom da doom da doom. So we actually found the march, like pa. So it was like, and so we hooked up the keyboard and we ran it through this effect unit, and next thing you know, we were doing a disco version of the song. And so it was like, I want to live.
Was it 4 a.m. and you were all getting a little punchy at this point?
No, this is still reasonable hours. We keep bankers' hours of 11 to 12. Exactly. And we built the version that's on the album around that. So if you actually hear the album, it sounds like some sort of weird combination of 70s disco and whatever it was originally. Admittedly, we're not sure of that version that's on the record. He didn't produce the track, right, Thomas Baker, but he mixed it. He loved it. And he kept talking about how the disco bass from 1970 and how he was at Studio 54 and mounds of cocaine. And I kept thinking, how does this got to do with a song about our country? You know what I mean? It's like, so that's one of those ones that's like, who knows, but it's there. It exists.
I definitely want to come back to Roy a little bit later, but let's talk about the lyrical content of that record, because I don't think that you had ever been overtly political before. I don't know that you're being overtly political now, but and maybe I'm reading into the lyrics incorrectly, but there seems to be a lot more awareness of the world in these songs, or many of them anyway.
Well, I feel I'm in an interesting position. I'd avoided politics, although I'm very politically minded, because I think politics is for fools. I mean, our political system is basically set up as sort of it's a shell game. I believe, and I sort of feel I know, that these people go behind the scenes and they shake hands and they see each other at the country club, and then they get out in front of the cameras and they pretend that they're either on the red team or the blue team. And that's all fine and good, and it's obviously been going on for years, and it goes on around all the world. We're not unique in that. But when it becomes dangerous to the future of our country, I suddenly find myself having an opinion that I can't sort of suppress, because it's that point where the waters reach high enough where you can't ignore it. It's such a part of our daily life. I've always commented on my environment, and yet I have to comment on this. So it's not political in the sense I want anybody to think anything. It's just political in the sense it's like I feel I'm drowning in a bunch of crap, and I don't know what to do or say about it, but say it's part of my daily life now.
Good answer. The next tune up, Neverlost. What do you got for that? What do you...
Nothing. It's just... There is a little story. We were set to break for Christmas of '05. And the sun was going down, which usually around the time we would stop, and we would pretty much come to the point where, okay, we're done, we're going to go home, sayonara. I think he was leaving that night. Leaving? Yeah, he was going to drive, so he was out. And so it was like, he's looking at me like, if we're good, I got to get out of here. And I said, let's just try one more idea. He said, okay. And literally I just started playing. And boom. 10 minutes later, we got the song. That's such the power of the Zen moment, of believing that there's still that little moment in there. So I think this is a reflection of that moment.